Alrighty fish homies, what is up? I'm out here in the office about to do a little rig video. This is my favorite rig I've ever made. It's super streamlined, super strong, and it always sticks the carp. I pretty much don't really ever lose fish on these rigs, especially when I'm using a size 4 hook. I like to use bigger hooks. The carp aren't that wary, to be honest, and the big hooks really nail them. And it's not too big of a deal when you catch smaller ones. When they get real small, it's better to go to a size 6 hook, but like anything over like 8 pounds usually doesn't have very many problems. So it's kind of like an adaptation of the Ronnie rig and the Turbo German rig, I would say. You can use it for bottom baits, you can use it for pop-ups, you can use it for wafters, pretty much whatever you want. So let's get started. Alright, so first let's talk about what we need. I like to use fluoro. This is a Nash fluoro. It's a chod link and it's 20-pound fluoro. So let's get that a little close up. You can see right here. I also use a mouth trap by Corda, I think it's called. So this is the first thing you're gonna need, obviously, some fishing line. First thing we're gonna wanna do is pull off about probably 8 or 10 inches of line. This rig is really cool because you don't waste line tying knots. We're actually gonna use a crimp. So basically, you pick how long you want your rig and then just add like an extra inch, maybe 2 inches. So I want these ones kind of shorter. So I'm gonna start off with about 10 inches here, I would say. Next thing you're gonna need is some crimping pliers or some scissors, obviously, to cut the line. I don't know if these are called crimping pliers, but that's what I like to call them. These are the Corda ones. Obviously you can see the logo here, and they have 2 sizes for 2 size crimps. There's a small one and a large one, and then there's a little cutter here for your fishing line. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that to cut my line here, nice and easy. So we got our little line right here, just like that. The next thing we're gonna need are the crimps. Now, for this size line, you're gonna wanna use the smaller crimps by Corda. They are 0.06 millimeter. I don't know how easy it is to see that there, but this is what I use. So we're gonna go ahead and get 2 of those out. So we got our line, we got the 2 crimps, we got our crimpers, and next thing we're going to need is a little anti-tangle sleeve. Sorry, it keeps going out of focus. But there we go, is our little anti-tangle sleeve. So we'll put that down. Next thing we're gonna need here are these Nash Tungsten swivel beads. These are something I'm really into. They really help streamline the rig, and I really don't like using putty because it sticks everywhere. So this kind of helps that out. So let's get started. First things first, we're going to put the line through the the crimp, one side and then the other side. Alright, so I don't know how easy it is to see, but we have the crimp on with a little loop on the line there, and that is gonna be where we attach it to our main line. So we're going to crimp it now. And for these crimps, you're going to use the small section of the pliers to crimp it down. All you do is put it in there, make sure it's in the slots. So we have our crimp inside the pliers. I don't know how easy it is to see that. And all we're gonna do is give it a nice squeeze down, and boom, we have a little loop tied at the end of our line. So that gets rid of all your knot tying. You can see there, we have a crimp with a little loop at the end. I hope you can see that loop there. Anyways, let's do a little close up. There you can see it. So boom, that's the first step. Next step is to grab your anti-tangle sleeve. I like to cut it down. And we're going to put it on the line here. There we go. And we're gonna just slide it up a little bit over that crimp, just so it stays on. So there's the first half of your rig done. These are the hooks I showed in my last unboxing video, or the unboxing video to come. And these are the size 4 Nash Fang gyro hooks. And I already cut the ring off some of these. Oh, here's the pack where I cut the rings off already. So we're gonna get one of those out. So next thing we're gonna do is get our little swivel bead, like I was saying, and then the fat side is the part that covers the crimp. So I don't know how well you can see there, but there is a little slot at the end of it, and that's what covers the crimp. So we're gonna go ahead and put that on the line with the skinny end facing towards your anti-tangle sleeve. We're just gonna slide that down, and then we're gonna go ahead and grab our crimp and put it through one side this time only. Instead of putting it through the other side, we're gonna grab our hook and we're gonna put the swivel through, and then we're gonna bring it to the other side of the crimp there. Alright, so you can see there, we have the crimp on, we have the hook on, and a little loop. I'm gonna make the loop a little bit smaller here, and this is where you can kind of customize the size of your rig. You can pull the line down more a little bit or pull it up more to make it shorter or longer. That's about where I want it. So now we're gonna crimp this side. Boom, there we go. So you might have a little tag end sticking out. If you do, just go ahead and trim that up. Boom. And then we're going to take that swivel bead and we're gonna slide it down up over the crimp. Just like this. Hopefully you can see here. So that slot's gonna go right over the crimp. If I can find it. There we go. So that's pretty much it so far. We have our anti-tangle sleeve with the crimp on one side. We have about 6 inches of line, and that's going to our other crimp, which is covered by the swivel bead. And then we have our Nash Fang gyro hook. Boom, just like that. You don't have to use this Nash Fang gyro hook. You can just get a quick chain swivel and put it on a medium curved shank hook from Fox or whatever you like to do. Pretty much just a Ronnie rig setup. And then you put a little shrink tube right here, and that's what we're gonna show you next. So the way I like to do my shrink tube is just kind of line it up. I put it a little bit above the eye of the hook and then measure it down about halfway down the barrel and mark it, and then I cut it. Then we're just gonna slide that shrink tube there over the hook point. This can be a little tricky. Took me a little practice to get this right without it crimping up all over the place. Just give it a little twist sometimes, and that helps it get over the hook. So once you have it over the point of the hook, we're just gonna bring it down and stretch it over the swivel about halfway, like I was saying, or you can do it the full thing. It doesn't really matter. I cut this one a little bit long, but next thing we're gonna do is get our lighter and shrink it down. So I just like to cover the line with my fingers so I don't burn it. Do one side, do the other side, do the back and the front, trying not to get the point of your hook burned. I don't know if that matters, but I like to just look out for that. Make sure it's nice and snug, and there you go. You have your shrink tube on, and we are almost done. These are the smaller size tungsten swivel bead covers, and then they have a larger one too if you're gonna be using larger pop-ups. Let's see if I can put them side by side. Yeah, there you can see the difference. So I use the smaller ones because the pop-ups I use don't need the big ones, honestly. So next thing we're gonna do is put on our micro ring swivel and our hook bead. All right, homies, had to take a little break and get on my za, you know what I'm saying? It's still hot, so I'm gonna finish this video while it cools down. So like I was saying, the next step is to get your micro ring swivel. As you can see here, it's just a really tiny swivel with a little ring on the back. And you're gonna put your hook point through that ring. And then you're gonna follow it up with your hook bead. There you might be able to see it a little better on the tip of the hook there, if it focuses. And we're gonna slide that around to basically the back side of where the barb is. So there you can see, now that swivel can't come off because the bead is holding it there, but it can still move up and down the shank of the hook. And that is what you're gonna tie the bait onto, which is our next step. Another good tool to have is one of these little pullers. You basically put it on one side of your rig, and then if you have two of them, you can put it on the other side too, but I just use the back side of my scissors. And you can test if your rig is strong by pulling it like this. Oop, just stabbed myself. And what I do is pull it for 3 seconds. If it doesn't slip after 3 seconds, then you're good. So I'll pull it tight, 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000. This one I'll do a little longer, 4 1000, 5 1000. So we know we are good. It's better to have 2 of these so that you can put it in the little swivel eye there. And let me show you. So if you have 2 of them, you can put one through the swivel eye or through the little loop that you made here. And that's gonna ensure that you don't bend your hook. The way I do it, you can sometimes bend your hook, which isn't the best idea. So you can do one on this side and then put another one on your other loop and pull it straight, and that's gonna work better than using the back of my scissors. I just lost my second one of these. So boom. Now we have to tie on our bait. So another thing you can do with that puller is pull it tight and kind of keep rubbing the line or blow like hot breath on it, and that's gonna help you straighten out your rig. You can also just put it over steam, like over a boiling pot of water, and it will straighten out. The next things we're gonna need is this bait floss, which is just basically unscented dental floss, but this is the one that Corda put out. So you can see here, it's just some white string. It's literally exactly like dental floss, but it's unscented. And then we're gonna need our little, I forget what these are called, but it's just a little tool to put your bait on. And then we're gonna need our pop-up. So what we're gonna do is slide our pop-up in there, get that started, and then we're gonna cut a short section of this off. We're gonna put this bait floss through the swivel on the hook right here. You can see that. I like to match up both sides of the string and pull it through so it's even, just like that. So we got our bait floss on here like I was showing you, and we're going to put that in the little indent in our baiting needle. Oh yeah, that's what it's called, the baiting needle. So it kind of locks through there, and then we're going to slide our pop-up on, or bottom bait, or corn, whatever you like to use. This rig is very versatile, and then I pull it down onto the barrel of the swivel. So you can see there, that's what it looks like. Then we're going to cut off the excess of it and burn it down, and then we're going to blot it. So that gives you a little bait stop, and that is the rig right there. So you can see it's going to sit on the bottom just like this, just over your bait or whatever. It helps to straighten out this line. I usually do that in my rig box. I just leave it in there for a while. But this is gonna sit just like this. Let me show you with the baiting needle so my finger's out of the way. So that's gonna sit just like this. I'll show you guys in a little fish tank or something real quick. I just wanna eat my pizza and then we'll get back to it. So there is your little rig to start. Pretty simple to tie. Takes like 5 minutes once you get used to it, and it's very reliable and it looks very clean. Alright guys, I don't know if I mentioned it in this video already, but my dog was super sick last night and I really only slept for like 1 hour. So hopefully I'm covering this pretty well for you guys. If you have any questions, comment down below. Like I said, this is my favorite rig. It's really fast and really easy to tie. It gets the big ones. It's okay for the small ones. You can use pop-ups, bottom baits, you can use fake corn, wafters, whatever you want. So the last step is to put it in the water. I don't have my fish tank set up, so I'm just gonna use like a little Tupperware, but I'm gonna fill that up and show you guys what's good. So you can see, got my tub of water, got my rig over here, and we're just gonna drop it in. And boom, you can see it's perfect. It floats up a little bit off the bottom, so you can add a little bit of putty to there, or you can chop your boilie up. Let me show you what it looks like with the chopped up boilie. Alright, so you can see here I just chopped off a bunch of pieces of pop-up. That's what's floating around. And I suggest you do what I'm doing anytime you tie a new rig, just so you know that it's working properly. So you can see the boilie is a little chopped up there, which isn't a problem. It just lets out the attraction faster. So if anything, it's a little better. And you can see from that side angle, it just sits perfectly in the water. Give it a little turn there. So that is a perfect little morsel for a carp to suck on. Check that out, guys. And you can see when a fish picks it up, it just resets itself perfectly. I kind of showed that in the last video, or one of the last videos, but like I said, this is a super streamlined rig. You can see with the fluoro, you can't even see the line in the water. It sits perfectly on the bottom, and from the top view, all a fish is gonna see is that little boilie sticking up there. So if you want to use the full boilie, you can just use the bigger bead, obviously, or you can use that bead and just put a little putty around it, and you will be good to go. So I'm gonna try this rig out either tonight or tomorrow. The big bummer is that the Fish and Games is trying to shut down fishing in California until the virus is over. So hopefully I'll be able to go fishing this week, but if not, I will just make some more rig videos and stuff. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, please comment down below. Let me know what you think, if you like this rig or not. And yeah, I think that's it. I hope you liked the video. If you don't like these rig videos, let me know. Not a lot of people are commenting or liking or sharing or anything. So I don't know. People tell me on Instagram, like, make rig videos, make instructional videos, and then I do it and no one watches them. So I don't know what to tell you guys, but please tell me if you like it or not, or if you have any suggestions. Anyways, peace out.